On the edges of East London and southwest Essex is the Land of the Fans, a diverse and densely populated landscape where wildlife, people and industry live side by side. Today it's a landscape fragmented by decades of development and major transport links. With ever-expanding urban sprawl and plans to build the Lower Thames crossing, the area faces a fragile future. The Land of the Fans is a partnership scheme formed in response to local concerns about growing pressures on the natural environment and heritage. Over 5 years, the scheme has set out to restore and reconnect the natural landscape and to encourage people to understand and enjoy the nature on their doorstep.
The environmental heritage projects are very diverse. I think that probably reflects the diversity of habitats and species that there are in the Land of the Fans. There's a big connection in this area between land and water, and that shift in relationship between them. The three main rivers, the Mardyke, the River Ingrebourne and the Rhondbee. Those rivers at one point would have been nice meandering streams. They've been heavily engineered in history, and lots of those areas now do not function as they once did. And so some of the projects that the Land of the Fans has been trying to achieve have been about reconnecting the rivers to their natural floodplains and trying to kind of recreate natural functioning ecological systems, improving watercourses and changing people's relationship to rivers.
So my name is Will Oliver and I work for Thames 21 as a Catchment Partnership Development Officer. Thames 21 is a member organisation of the Land of the Fans Partnership, and we're tasked with running a number of projects across the rivers Rhondbee, Ingrebourne and Mardyke, basically to improve the wetland landscape for both people and wildlife. This project is situated at Davy Down, which is a 6-hectare riverside park, and the work we're doing here is aiming to improve the floodplain habitat. So what we've done is we've excavated almost 800 metres cubed of land to create 2 scrapes and 3 ponds. A scrape is basically a semi-permanent wetland feature. Once it floods and once it's had a chance to bed in over spring, it will look like a really nice wetland feature for amphibians, birds and invertebrates. We've also put in a path linking the park to South Ockendon. So previously that was quite a muddy track that wouldn't have been able to be used through winter, but we're really hoping now that that path will help draw people in through South Ockendon and use this area more. Floodplains are actually one of the most threatened habitats in the UK. 90% of them are poorly managed and they've had all sorts of pressures from farming through to building. And when we say floodplains, we quite often think of negative perceptions. So flooding and floodplains, people think that's a bad thing, but really it's not. Where in landscapes such as this, where we can allow it to flood without impacting on anyone's lives or property, it's something that we should really promote and embrace. So by creating these kind of wetland habitats, we can attract all sorts of interesting animals and creatures to this landscape and really hope promote it and bring it back to what it once was. So although this area at Davy Down might seem quite small, it's not at all insignificant, and it's really important that we make the most of the floodplain habitat here and really work to improve it wherever we can, and which is exactly what working with Land of the Fans we've done here.
Partnership working is key to delivering the Land of the Fans' vision of creating long-term, sustainable solutions for managing the landscape.
in the Essex Wildlife Trust part of Langdon Ridge, and Langdon Ridge is a landscape scale conservation area, and it's of national importance, and that's why it's been protected as a site of special scientific interest, a SSSI. I'm Zoe Ringwood, and I'm the Landscape Conservation Area Manager for the southwest of Essex with Essex Wildlife Trust. We've had a really positive collaboration with Land of the Fans. We've had several different projects. It's been from interpretation on our reserves, to restoring habitat, to protection of some of the important historic heritage we have on some of our sites. And this one particularly is setting up a special area of Langdon for conservation grazing. We're really pleased that they've supported us to restore an important area for one of the special insect communities that's found at Langdon Ridge. And this is a community that's associated with damp, scrubby mosaic habitats. And what Land of the Fans has funded is basically for us to fence this area to enable us to introduce conservation grazing. So we're going to be restoring more open areas by putting on rare breed sheep in the spring, where you've got some lush growth, and they will help to open out and to keep the scrub at bay. And then later on in the season, we'll bring on some cattle, and they will just take away the nutrients and the grass from that year to open it out for the more delicate flowery species to grow again the following year. So that's a really gentle way to manage the grassland area. It's much more gentle than going in and cutting and removing, as it's a slow process. We have a vision for this area. With the introduction of conservation grazing, over the next few years, it's very much the restoration phase. But once we've got these areas opened up, we are looking to have areas of grass and areas of scrub, and very sheltered areas. So amongst the scrub will still be important, but we'll have grassy areas within it, which will provide sheltered microclimates for the insect communities.
But also these projects have got wider benefits. It's not just about the wildlife, it's about engaging people in the value of that wildlife and helping people to understand why that wildlife is a potential value. It's something to be proud of, it's something that is special about this area.
20 projects have invited communities to explore local conservation and learn new skills along the way.
My hopes for the future for the Land of the Fans would be everybody has a shared stake in the future of the landscape. So that would include the strategic partners, the stakeholders, and the local communities who've all been involved in some way, shape or form in the work that we've been doing over the past 5 years. It's important now more than ever that that happens. I guess that the significance of local heritage is evident more than ever as we emerge from various lockdowns and coronavirus, that people can shape the future of their local area and be part of something bigger.